Hi, it's getting warmer here in Boston and iced tea sounds good. So when I just now said that, did I say iced with a D or ice, no D, tea? You can't tell. You shouldn't be able to tell because there's really no difference. And why? I'm talking about this because I read this article in Merriam-Webster about the difference in spoken and written form, but it didn't go into the nitty-gritty detail of what is exactly happening in your mouth to make them sound the same. So I thought you might like to know. So the reason you don't notice is because we don't speak in individual sounds and you may not hear all the sounds. We speak in syllables, groups of words, because the written form and the spoken form of a language can be very different. You don't always see what you hear and you don't always hear what you see. So in writing, you may see the spaces between the words, but in speaking, we don't need to take pauses between every word. We understand them as a unit of meaning as a word, but we're speaking them syllable by syllable, syllable by syllable. When you hear someone speak speaking a language you don't know, it may sound like a continuous string of sounds that have no meaning to you, because they don't, but you won't hear as many boundaries because you don't know where those units of meaning are. So that's what this is about. And by the end of this long article, you'll understand why it may look like ice, I-C-E-T, sound like iced tea. And it may look like iced with a D, T, and sound the same, iced tea. So, what is happening? I have to go back to the Latin. So, coming from the word co-articulation is coming from co, meaning together and at the same time, and articulus, meaning to separate into separate joints. So the shun just makes it a noun. So what is really happening is that these separate joints of the words are being connected. And that means that every individual sound isn't alone. It's always going to be influenced by what's around it. And what's around it could be sounds in the same word or not the same word because there's no real boundaries between words. So, for example, when you say she, the SH sound has a little bit of lip rounding on its own. When you say sh, your lips come out a little bit. But when you're saying she, you know that the E needs the lips to come back, so the lips won't stick out so far, she. But if you say shoe, your lips are getting ready for the oo, which requires more lip rounding, shoe. So you may start already with more rounding, shoe, she. I don't need to have my lips as rounded. So you never thought about how am I making my SH, and how is that influenced by the sound after it, but I do. I think about it. So it's also, we need to start with when is a D a T? Because the ED ending in iced isn't a D, it's really a T. Because when you say ice, the final sound is an S. It looks like a C because English spelling is crazy. The C can be an S or a K, but the sound is S, and that is voiceless. There's no vibration in the vocal folds. They're not touching. So if the last sound is voiceless, when you add the ED ending, it won't sound like duh. It will sound like the voiceless T. The duh and the T are made in the same place. So if your voice is off, you just leave it off. Iced. Other words like walked. It's going to sound like a T. So that's important to begin with. So what's happening after that? It's important to know where the placement in your mouth is for these sounds that are influencing each other. So t, da, n, l. The tip of the tongue is touching behind the top teeth, and that spot is called the alveolar ridge. So t, da, n, l. These all touch in the same spot. S, z, don't exactly touch because they never stop the airflow. And there's two ways to make S's. You can make your S up behind your top teeth, or you can make your S down below your bottom teeth. But either way, the point of constriction for the airflow is going to be the most narrow, whether your tongue is up behind the top teeth or it's the middle of your tongue bunching up behind the top teeth. I'm a bottom S'er myself. So t and duh. Stop the airflow completely. And that's how you make a T and a D. The only difference is voicing. T. The tongue touches the top, t, and releases with air. Duh, duh. Same place, you're building up pressure behind and then release it. That's why those sounds are called stops, because you stop the airflow. They're also called plosives because it's kind of an explosion of air. And then the other sounds, n, l, s, z, those don't stop the airflow. They might obstruct it in some way because of where your tongue is, but the air keeps flowing. So that's important. So now, stop and go. The final T or any stop consonant, p, b, t, d, k, g, doesn't need to be heard. When it's the final sound in a word that's at the end of a pause or a sentence, you can just hold your tongue in that position. When you say great, it's there. Great. That's it. You don't have to say great. When there's a vowel after that stop consonant, then you will hear it connect because you are going to release it. The next example I have is hold on. If I said hold by itself, hold. If I say hold on, hold on. The D releases the air, and then you hear the D sound as I get ready to make the O and on. When there's consonants next to each other, you won't hear the first one. So the first one is held, and the second one is released. When you say good day, you don't hear good day, because good, your tongue goes to the D position and holds it there, and then it releases when you say day. Good day, not good day, good day. Big deal. It doesn't matter which stop consonants are next to each other, and it can be other sounds as well, but big deal. I wanted to give an example of something in the complete back of the mouth. Big, big. The back of your tongue goes up and stops the air for big, big deal. So now my back of my tongue stops it for the G, and then it goes up for the D, deal. So it's the same situation. And it's the same situation with iced tea. I'm not going to release my tongue and say iced tea and have two T's. You're only going to hear one T. So iced tea. You don't hear iced tea. Iced tea. That's it. That's why you don't hear the D. And the final sound in ice isn't a stop consonant. So the air does keep moving when you say iced tea. However, you are going to stop the airflow when your tongue goes up for the S. Iced tea. Ice. It's very close when I make the S. Iced. And when you push your tongue up to stop the airflow for the T, then release it for the vowel E, that's when you'll hear the T. Ice. Very close. Like these are my teeth and this is the tongue. Iced tea. Iced tea. So, either way, whether you say iced with a EDT or ice with no EDT, you're only going to hear one T sound. So that's why it might look like ICE, ice T. It might look like ICED, iced tea, but they're going to sound exactly the same. Iced tea. And now that I made this long description, I understand why Merriam-Webster didn't go into these nitty-gritty details. But hopefully it was interesting to you to know exactly what is happening. And if you're worried about which one is it, which one should I say, you don't have to worry because they sound exactly the same. I'm Christy Barb, and thank you for listening and sharing my interest in these details.